Best Bites Forever.
Hi everyone, it's Chef Alicia with bestbitesforever.com, and today we will be making hot apple cider. I'm going to start off with 12 apples, and the first thing that I'm going to do is peel those stickers off because you definitely don't want to cook the stickers along with your apples. Then I'm going to go ahead and wash all 12 of those apples and bring them back over here to my cutting board when they're nice and drained, and I'm going to cut them into quarters. Once I get them cut into quarters, I'm going to remove the core, and the easiest way to do that is how I'm showing you here. You simply lay that quarter onto the cutting board and then use your knife at a slight angle and cut right into your apple at a little bit of an angle, and it takes that core off, leaves the core on your knife, leaves the rest of the apple nice and clean, and that's the part that you want to use. So we're going to do 12 apples this way and put them into a big stock pot. The stock pot I have is 8 quarts. Now on to my cardamom. These are cardamom pods. I have 3 of them, and I just crack them when I put them in there. I don't open them all the way, I just crack them. Hi little cardamoms, see what's in there? There are little black seeds inside, which you can ground down into a powder, but we're not doing that today. We're just going to add those right into the pot. The next thing I've added is 3 cinnamon sticks. I know it looks like more, but it's not, so don't add more. 3 cinnamon sticks, 3 whole cloves, and then I'm also going to grate some fresh nutmeg into there, which is very, very delicious. And there's my pretty fresh nutmeg, you can see. And what I used was a microplaner. If you don't have one, you may want to invest in one because they're awesome to use in the kitchen. And then what I'm adding here is a half a cup of honey. That's what I'm going to use for sweetener. You're welcome to use sugar if you want, or agave, but I like the honey. The next thing that you need to do, which is very important, is see how high your apples come up in your pan, because you want to add about 4 extra inches of water over top of them. Oh, forgot my allspice. That was 5 whole allspice. Okay, so as you can see, I've added my water in, and again, apples float, so that's why I said to make sure that you check how high your apples came up in your pan, because you want to have about 4 extra inches, maybe 3, I don't know how big's your pot, but let's say 3. The next thing we're going to do is boil those apples for 1 hour. And here I'm just adding in the zest of 1 orange, and I would have actually added this in at the beginning, but I didn't have an orange, so I had to wait for my husband to get home tonight and bring me home an orange. So now I have added in the zest from my 1 orange, which again, mine has been boiling for 1 hour. You can see that my apples are looking pretty delicious here, and they're starting to cook down. Let me show you one of these little guys here. You can see this guy right here. See, he's almost falling apart. And too, just so you know, I've came back and I've stirred my apples maybe every 20 to 30 minutes and kind of used my spoon to mush them up against the side of the pan just to help them out a little. Once your apples have boiled for your 1 hour, go ahead and put a lid on them and let them simmer for 2 more hours. When they're done simmering, you're going to have this beautiful pulpy liquid. It should look just like this. If you've been mashing your apples as you go and you've been doing everything that I said, you should have something smelling wonderful. Your house should smell just like fall, and so should your neighborhood, which is pretty awesome for the neighbors, isn't it? And moving right along here, what I have set up is my colander, just my regular old colander that I use to drain noodles with, and I've set it into my biggest mixing bowl that I have. It just happens to fit right down in there perfectly, and I'm just dumping all of that liquid right on top. Now, I personally really like my apple cider to be like pulpy and thick and delicious. But if you don't like that, you have 2 options here. You can either line your colander with some cheesecloth and go ahead and strain it the same way. See here, my husband actually helped me lift that up and drain it a little. Or you can use a fine mesh. But if you don't have the fine mesh, the cheesecloth colander option is a really nice way to go. The next thing you got to do is enjoy some of that delicious apple cider. So here I am just putting some of mine into a cup. Add a pretty little cinnamon stick for some garnish. And there it is, all finished. It's as easy as that. For this recipe and some of the other ones that I have, please join me on my website. It's bestbitesforever.com. Thank you for joining me, and happy cooking, everyone.
bestbitesforever.com